Cox. Speaking of West Jefferson, before we introduce our next speaker, Marcus alluded to Manny Baracco, the athletic director of Jefferson Parish. Great to have Manny here. And by the way, Manny was named Athletic Director of the Year of the United States of America this past year. I think he deserves a huge round of applause. Very blessed to have someone like that among us and watching over the young men and women that we have in Jefferson Parish. Our next speaker is a former prep star at West Jefferson High School, went on to be a college star at Tulane University, played in the World Football League, was so good at Tulane he was elected to the Hall of Fame, and of course he loves his school. He's a longtime color analyst for Tulane football on radio. He's also the best insurance man for State Farm in America. Did I get that right? I want a lower premium. Tulane plays UAB this coming Saturday on the road in Birmingham. Please give a warm quarterback club welcome to Steve Barrios. Steve?
Thanks again. It's an honor to be here. Unfortunately, it seems like every time I am invited to be here, it is after a Tulane defeat. So all I can say is that I was very, very optimistic at halftime when we go in a half. It's 10-3. We're playing the prior Conference USA champs, along with the Conference USA Offensive Player of the Year and J.G. Kinney. And, you know, we forced 2 interceptions. If anybody would have told me that would have been the halftime score, I think I would have bet the house, all right, on the rest of the game. But unfortunately, Tulsa came out the second half very, very focused, made some great adjustments, put tremendous pressure on our quarterback. We were really unable to generate anything offensively. Even though the final score was 31-3, our defense played an outstanding football game against a very, very talented Tulsa offensive juggernaut. So it was disappointing to lose, and yeah, a lot of people were putting a lot of hype on that game, as you know, this game was going to really tell exactly how far our program had come, et cetera, et cetera. But I, in pregame, said this, you know, it's only the second game of the year. I said it would be great to win this game, but no matter what happens, it's only the second game. It's a very long season, and I really think you know, Tulane is on the right track. We've seen tremendous improvement in their recruiting, especially in the local high schools. We've seen guys that have come in that have been, you know, bigger and stronger and faster. Unfortunately, we're still not as big or as strong as fast as some of the opponents that we played. And it was so evident from the first week playing Southeastern and then watching Tulsa, just the difference in team speed, especially on defense. Tulsa has a great defensive line, but they also have some tremendous linebackers. And even though it looked like big gaping holes initially for our running backs to go through, they were just covered up immediately. And as I said, one of the keys was Ryan Griffin was under pressure all night, didn't have an opportunity to really throw the ball, and it was very discouraging that we could only muster, you know, 3 points after putting over 40-something points on the board the week before. Next week we go to Birmingham, play the UAB at Birmingham. Again, looking forward to our first conference win. Unfortunately, we are suffering some early injuries, especially in our defensive secondary, which is really going to hurt. So a lot of young kids are going to have to step up defensively and make some plays, make some big plays. The other thing that was very disappointing was that against Southeastern, over 11 receivers caught passes from Ryan Griffin. In this game, only 4 were able to catch passes, but Ryan had a number of passes that were dropped, that were critical drops that would have kept drives going, and it was just very disappointing to see those passes incomplete. I really think there should be a category, you know, where it says, instead of it says incomplete, it says receive a dropped football. So any questions about Tulane or our upcoming opponent, our situation. If,
Raise your hand.
What the improvements on offensive line? That's what seems like the problem.
the question was about the offensive line. You know, we really felt, or I felt, that the offensive line had somewhat improved, but the Tulsa team showed us that we still have a long way to go, and you know, there are a lot of holes that, you know, need to be filled on the offensive line.
Anyone else? Right there.
Yeah, and that's kind of an enigma, you know, because I felt since Coach Toledo has been here that each recruiting class has been, you know, better than the one before, and it's kind of disappointing not to see those first 2 or 3 recruiting classes now maturing into you know, guys that can really be counted on, and you know, and guys that are solid starters. And so it's a tough question to answer, and all I can say is I just hope that as we progress, I think Tulsa was a real wake-up call for us. You know, going from Southeastern to Tulsa, it was like, you know, night and day. And so what they're going to be having to do is really get the kids coached up and ready for, you know, conference play. I would like to. Orleans Darkwa, is he healthy? Orleans Darkwa has a toe ligament injury. It's not technically a turf toe, but it is a toe ligament injury that is, you know, very bothersome to him. And so he's really, I think, unable at this time to make some of the cuts and some of the moves that, you know, we saw him make last year. And hopefully it's just going to be something that he's going to have to play with and play through, you know, for the rest of the year. But he has shown some real brilliance, you know, of the Orleans we saw last year. He still has that power, and but it is going to be a bothering, nagging injury he's going to play with all year. No, I'd like to, as Kenny said, I am a graduate of West Jefferson High School, and it's really nice to meet Coach Scott for the first time. Of course, when I graduated from West Jefferson back in 1968, the school really had a reputation, not only as being a good football school, but we also had a lot of other different reputations. And I'll never forget that I was in charge of trying to put together one of our first class reunions of you know, the 1967 team. And believe it or not, I was also student council president. So, you know, it goes to show that not all big, you know, athletes that even make it to the pro level are big and dumb. You know, some of them are from small and dumb. But anyway, I was student council president, and I remember sending out, trying to get in touch with all the guys, and about a third of the guys said that they would definitely make the time to come to the reunion. Another third said they didn't really have the time to come to the reunion, and the last third were actually doing time. So it was kind of, you know, anyway. But thanks so much for having me here, and hopefully I'll be back soon after a victory. Thank you very much.
How do I follow that? All right, Steve, always a pleasure. God bless you and your family.